should hear the bees. Can you hear them? Hello. I mean, you know, a lot of you have talked about putting more flowers in your plot and put herbs in. Put herbs that will, or put things in that will attract the pollinators. Because just that sound, it just adds an extra element to your plot. But anyway, that's not why I'm here to talk today. I want to show you my cheats vegetables. In other words, I've been to the shop because I have either sown them too late, I have sown them and they haven't survived. We have been given some and not looked after them and they've disappeared. Sorry, Dave. Oh, we just haven't bothered sowing them at all. So today I've got some purple sprouting broccoli. I've got to be honest, I don't think I'll get a chance to put that in today, but I definitely want to put my leeks in. I don't know what make these are, as ever when you buy these things from the shops. Hold on, there we go. It just says leeks, so that's what they are. But I want to show you what's already in the place I want to plant them. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because I'm really quite pleased with what happened. So I'll take you over there and show you now. Just give these a nice little drink before we get started. Right, if you remember, earlier on in the year, we actually built these, well, there's 6 of them, these double pallet beds. I say double pallet because that's a pallet collar, that's a pallet collar. Are they double? Yeah, there's 2. Filled them with compost from our own compost, excuse me, bits of soil from our garden, and yeah, just tippings out of old plant pots, all that sort of thing. So it's fairly mixed, but what has happened is the stuff that we have had growing in these boxes, and I must admit we have only lined the 3. I'm keeping the other 3 off camera for now, but this stuff has grown so well, really, really well. We've got some manure in there as well. But one of the reasons I want to put the leeks up at this end of the allotment is because I mention all the time the allium leaf miner gets everything we have at the bottom end, and this year it got our onions, not our Japanese overwintering onions, but our standard onions and our garlic. So next year, or as we come up to planting alliums next time, they're going to be up at this end and maybe in these boxes, but the leeks definitely will do really well. As you can see by, I don't know if you can, it's on camera, but if you can see the spring onions next door, I mean, they're huge. They are huge. And that is the best stock of spring onions we've ever done. So the thing is, to get this bed clear, it is now ready for me to take out this. And you might think to yourself, Jane, that's the most rickety old plant we've ever seen. Well, that's a good thing, because these are my King Tut peas, and I've literally been growing them for the seed so that I can then spread them around more, not just in the garden, but with friends next year, because they're a really, really good heritage seed. So I must admit, excuse me, once or twice I've eaten a few peas as I've been passing. Who can resist? But they are now at the stage where I can pick them and save them for next year. So let me show you what I mean. Right, if I'm your granny and I'm teaching you to suck eggs, I can only apologise. You might want to forward wind this bit. But this is what you've really got to look out for. So we all know the basic principles of any seed saving is to let the seeds stay on the plant for as long as possible, so that all the goodness of the plant, as the plant dries out, I mean, this is why it looks so horrendous, all the goodness goes back into the seeds, so that if they were out in nature, once the seeds are ready, they can, as in the case of beans, they can pop open and then they will spread around and regenerate, regerminate for next year. What we've got to do is try and mimic that. But it is really a fine line, because some seeds, some pods, if we look at peas, for example, it's the same with beans. You will have some pods that look like they're not quite ready. I've got to say, no, these all look quite ready. But if you have some pods that aren't quite ready, okay, let's look at this one. I mean, these are purple podded. So, okay, that one, still a bit squishy. If you listen to it, doesn't rattle. So the peas in there will be a lot bigger than the ones I'm about to get. Let me show you. Because they are still get in the, can you see, oh, I've got a bee in my face, go away bee. Okay, can you see those? They're still looking quite fresh. Okay, I'm tempted to eat one. I'm going to. Not fresh at all, gone quite hard and horrible. Won't eat the rest. Whoop, there they go. But what you don't want to do is leave it on the plant so long that it decides to do the job itself and spread the seeds itself. So again, if I show you this one, this pod here, okay, that has dried, can you see that? That has dried itself out, dispersed all the peas itself, and that is no good to me. Okay, it's good for the compost, but there you go. Right, so what you want is to get them, these are, they're not quite rattly, but I know if I leave these for a few more days, they are going to have gone. They will have popped open and the mice will have been, anything will have been. You can hear how dry the plant is as I'm picking them and how crusty those are. That's a horrible word, isn't it? Crusty, crumbly. So what I'm going to do, I've got my little tray here and I'm just going to collect as many of these pods as possible. I got these were very kindly passed down to me from Danny over at the Grapevine Garden, and he also sent me some Kent Blue, which are on the other side, and basically they just completely died off without me even noticing. How terrible is that? What a terrible gardener I am. And by the time I got round there were about one or two hanging onto the stems, so I don't think I'll be able to gather much from them, but you can hear just how dry, that's another one that set itself out, how dry these are. So I'm going to pick these and show you what I'm going to do next. So can you hear how rattly they are? What I'm going to do now is just lay them out. You can see it's got holes in the bottom of this tray. I'm going to lay them out on the tray, put them somewhere indoors and high up that is not reachable by mouse, and just leave them for a few more days, and then I know that they're completely dry. I can pod them, I can store them in a dark, dry place and reuse them next year. Right, now I've got those out the way, it's the next stage in Operation Cheat Leak, in which I'm going to try and remove all of this in one go without doing myself any injuries, which you will all know that if you're putting bamboo canes into soil, you should cover the ends. We all know that, don't we? Don't do as I do, do as I say. Right, okay, that was easy. Let's pop that there for now. And then the other side. And then the other thing that I've got to really think about is I've got this beautiful, look, here's Ollie. And there's Sybil in the background, plucking away. I've got to decide what I'm going to do with this gorgeous self-seeded nasturtium. If it was ratty-tatty like the beans or the peas, I should say, I've forgotten what I'm doing now, I'd just take it up, but it's so pretty. And of course you all know, and if you don't, here's a good one, you can actually eat the nasturtium, what do you call them? Pods, not pods. You know the bits I mean. My head. My head and my body are sometimes completely AWOL. Right, okay, so I'm now kneeling very ungainly and unladylike on this, being squawked at by a chicken, but I'm going to continue. Yes, we can eat the leaves, we can eat the flowers, and we can also eat the little, oh my goodness, Jane, I did this with the sweet corn last time, it's completely gone out of my head. The middle of the nasturtiums. Right, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm not going to move it. I will tidy up either side, and then hopefully the leeks will have had a nice drink and they'll be ready to go in. Right, we're ready to plant some leeks. Now, these have had a really good soak now, so they are, well, they should come out reasonably easy. And I've got 20 of them. So that means I'm going to put about 10, well, we'll put 10 on each side. Look, there's a pea starting to self-seed already. Whoop, over there. And yeah, I'm going to put 10 on each side. They are supposed to be 6 inches deep and about 6 inches apart. But to be honest, whatever space you've got, just don't worry if they're too far apart or they're too close. They'll be fine. Mother Nature does not go out with a measuring stick and measure between every single crop that she puts in, does she? So I'm not going to either. And also, I've got to remember that this, very, very shortly, as soon as it starts to die back, actually, I'll be taking this up, which gives us a little bit more room, but you can see how lovely this soil is. So here we go. I'm going to do 10 holes on this side and I'll show you how I do them. I'm going to stagger them. So I'll go, if I go, I've got to have enough room for the leek to grow. So 1, I mean, that just goes through that soil absolutely beautifully. 1, 3, I don't want it to be too close to the edge. Oh no, bring that in. That's what I could do with wheels on my bottom. There we are. Okay, I've got 9 holes there. And I'm going to put 9 leeks this side, 9 leeks that side, sorry Ollie, 9 leeks that side and 1 either end. And all I am going to do is be very, very careful. This is where they can snap, which is why it's a good idea. Oh, not brilliant roots. Little roots on there. Some people clip the roots, some people clip the tops. It's completely up to you. But all you do then is just literally drop it in that hole. And it seems really weird. You don't backfill it, you don't put any soil on top of it or anything. You just drop that leek. Make sure it gets, do that where you can see me. Make sure it gets, I'm not happy with the way, I'll finish my sentence in a minute. I'm not happy with the way these are coming out. They should be coming, that's better. Okay, you can see the roots on that one, can't you? That's a bit better. Pop it in, make sure, if it wants to stick out the hole a bit, twirl it round a bit. Again, can you see? Just twirl it so the roots take it down, but it should just drop in really, really well. And you just carry on doing that with the rest of your leeks. Again, I am going to lever this one out with my very, very rusty but incredibly well loved and well used hurry knife. I'm getting the hang of it, look. Okay, they're better, aren't they? Drop it in the hole. Make a hole, drop it in. Make a hole, drop it in. And then I'm just going to show you what you do next before I put the rest in, because it's so easy. You do not backfill with soil. It seems counterintuitive, but all you do then is put some water in the hole, and this will do 2 things. It will help to settle the plant down to the bottom of the hole, and it will also loosen the sides, because we don't want any sort of compressed soil around the leek, and this will just help loosen the soil, which will find its own way to covering the leek. Okay, and that's as easy as it is. It, they're all in. There are actually a few more than I thought, because some of the cells had 2 seedlings in. So I've got another 3. Again, I'm not worried about them being under here for now. Just move that back. Another 3 at the front, 2 at the back. 9 on each side. So do the maths. 23. Yeah, so that's really good. But just one more thing before I go. So just the last thing, and I promise I won't talk, you're thinking, aren't you, she's sitting at her table, she's going to start talking now, but I just want to say once again a huge thank you for all the support, all the supportive comments, And I mean, this is asking for trouble, isn't it? And yeah, I haven't mentioned Patreon for a while. If you want to go and have a look at Patreon and see what's going on over there, all the links are down below. But I just want to say thank you, and hopefully things are starting to right themselves, I think. Get themselves a little bit. What do you think? She thinks so. This has got nothing to do with actually liking me. It's to do with the fact I have sprinkled corn all over the table in a terrible attempt. I just swallowed a fly. In a shameless attempt to get her up and sit next to me. So yeah, thanks very much, and I'll see you again soon.